Thank you, Jackie. What to do in Iraq, even as more U.S. troops are already heading to the war. The House Armed Services Committee today is hearing testimony on possible alternatives to adding troops. Lawrence Korb is a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress and is one of those testifying today. Lawrence, good to see you.
Nice to be with you again.
NBC News learned and first reported yesterday that Saudi Arabia is working on a plan to protect Sunni interests in Anbar province if the Iraqi violence continues to escalate. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that makes it all the more imperative that we follow the recommendations of the Iraqi study group to get all of the countries that border on Iraq together, because they're all in there doing their own thing, and we need to coordinate their efforts. The Saudis are concerned that the Shias will take revenge against the Sunnis, and so they want to protect the Sunnis. You've got the Iranians on the other side. So what you need to do is get all the parties together to make sure they all work together to ensure that Iraq does not become a failed state and descends into nonstop violence.
Is Saudi Arabia serious about this? And if so, what would a Saudi response look like?
Well, the Saudis are very serious about it. And what they would do is they would provide arms and money some volunteers to the Sunnis. The Saudis did this in Afghanistan when the Soviet Union went into Afghanistan back in the 1979, or from 79 through 89. The Saudis were very much involved. In fact, bin Laden was a Saudi, and that's where he got his start.
You have also talked about the military escalation, saying it doesn't tackle the core problems of Iraq's security forces and, in fact, could exacerbate the situation, which is an argument a number of people have made. The surge is happening, so is there some sort of political offensive, you think, that can go along with it that can help it to work?
The Iraqis have got to make the painful political compromises that balance the powers of the central government and the provincial governments, protect minority rights, fairly distribute oil revenues. Until they do that, you could have a soldier or a Marine Corps person on every street corner in Baghdad, and it's not going to make any difference. We have to ensure that we put maximum leverage on the government to do what it needs to be done. And so far, Mr. Maliki knows that we're not going to leave, so he's not doing that.
Well, do you think that he's changed his mind? Because certainly on the morning that the president made his speech outlining his plan, he told members of the media, his spokespeople were telling members of the media, the reason this time it's different is that Nouri al-Maliki has really pledged that he's going to do the things that he says he's going to do. Should we believe him?
Well, I mean, if you look at the early indications, no. I mean, he just picked a Shia general to be in charge of all of the operations of the Iraqi forces that are going to come into Baghdad. We had recommended a Sunni general who was much more qualified. He's picking a Shia because he depends on the Shias to stay in power, and that's going to get the Sunnis to be further alienated from the government. And unless you bring them in, this violence, as we saw yesterday, is going to continue.
Lawrence Korb is going to be talking to the House Armed Services Committee today. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Seems to be more questions than answers.